Roll call, please.
Freeholder Di Nicola?
Here.
Freeholder Felice?
Present.
Freeholder Gans?
Aye.
Freeholder Sullivan is absent. Freeholder Tonelli?
Here.
Freeholder Zur?
Here.
Chairwoman Buzz?
Here. Evidence of a quorum is present. Everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, and will Ms. Laura Zanarelli lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will you please remain standing for a moment? The Board of Chosen Freeholders offers its condolences to the family of Mike Adler, a noted Bergen County businessman and philanthropist from Franklin Lakes, who died yesterday. Mr. Adler was the founder of the Adler Aphasia Center in Maywood in 2003. Mr. Adler's mission was to raise awareness of communication disorder known as aphasia. According to reports, his greatest pleasure was to hear from aphasia sufferers that the center had helped them to get back their lives. Thank you. Will the clerk please read the minutes to be accepted?
August 5th, 2015 work session, Freeholder Sullivan was absent. August 19th, 2015 public session, all present.
May I have a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Second, okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? May I have a motion to open the meeting to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed, say nay. Okay. We will now have a hearing of the general public with a 3-minute time limit in effect. The board attorney will keep the time, and when the time of the speaker expires, the timekeeper will announce that the time has expired. Please fill out one of these cards with your name and the topic that you wish to discuss, and so we can keep a good flow. First up, Tom Von Lindorn.
Capital B-O-N, capital L-I-N-D-E-R-N. Von Lindern.
Oh, okay.
Hey, my handwriting's atrocious.
So smart.
That's the first to admit that. Thank you. I'd like to encourage you to vote on the Pilgrim Pipeline opposition this evening. You can see that's part of the agenda. I won't belabor the point. And then I have 2 invitations. This Sunday at Temple Emmet in Teaneck, there's going to be a forum and discussion about the pipelines and oil trains. It's from 3 to 5 p.m. I only was able to make one before my color ran out on my printer. I'll submit that. And also the upcoming fall schedule for the North Jersey Public Policy Network. The first speaker and topic is tomorrow at Fairleigh Dickinson. It talks about the economic risks of climate change. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dan Ortega.
Good evening, Mr. Ortega.
Good evening, Freeholders. My name is Daniel Ortega, and I'm here to speak to you in reference to Resolution 1090-15. I'm here on behalf of the Operating Engineers, Local 825. We represent over 6,000 union workers in New Jersey and over 400 union workers that reside here in Bergen County. Responsible infrastructure responsible infrastructure is very important for our communities and our economy. We strongly support this type of projects, such as the pipeline that has been proposed, because it has a positive impact in the type of work that we do every day. Pipeline construction generates a lot of work for our members, and this pipeline in particular will benefit our members not only in the state of New Jersey, but also in the state of New York. A vote or the statement of this pipeline project at this time, it will be at best premature, and we respectfully ask the board to vote no or to table this resolution until more information about the project has come out to the public. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now Laura Zattarelli.
Tattarell. Hello, everyone. My name is Laura Zattarelli. I'm the president of the Student Government Association at Bergen Community College. I wanted to speak to you guys since the semester and the year is in full gear now, and I wanted to talk a little bit about what I've been working on in student government. So we are working with the Faculty Senate in creating a survey for the success courses. The success course is right now a pilot class at Bergen, and we are surveying students to hopefully use those results to determine whether or not it should be a regular course or a mandatory course for freshmen when they come in. We're also doing a survey and working with administration on the pay to print initiative. We are conducting a survey to students to see if we could possibly reach a fair and a reasonable limit of free printing before they start charging us for printing. And we're still conducting that. And we are also still recruiting senators, but we are going away for our fall retreat, and we're going to train them and hopefully get right into gear as well. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I just have, is it Annie?
Annie?
A-N-N-Y? Okay.
Hi, how are you? I'm Annie Martinez. I have 2 boys, one of them is right there. And I want to thank the Freeholders for taking action on an important situation going on with the Pilgrim Pipeline. And I encourage you to please continue to defend the clean water and public health and the safety for all of us. I also wanted to ask that for future actions that the Freeholders could work with the county administrators to rescind that survey permission that was previously granted to the Pilgrim Pipeline. And today's action, I feel, is a big step for the Bergen County Freeholders to hopefully not let this go happen. You know, basically I feel privilege is invisible to the ones who have it, and it's really, really hard for us to fathom not having access to clean drinking water because we always have. And it's about the kids and the grandkids to come. So please, thank you everyone.
Thank you. Okay. Gregory Sullivan.
My name is Gregory Sullivan. I'm the president of my club. Well, here. Whoops. I guess that works. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I've been a volunteer visitor of detainees being held at county facilities for now 9 years. And quite frankly, I've always been appalled at the fact that how the inmates and the detainees have been victimized by certainly by many things, but quite largely by telephone calls. It's extraordinary that in this day and age that you know, a 15-minute call would cost $3.50 in a county jail. We, as an organization, as we call First Friends, have been visiting people since 2001, and we're very concerned about the treatment of both inmates and detainees. When we saw that you all were putting out an RFP on a new phone contract for the Bergen County Jail, and we saw the RFP, we were really distressed when we saw that it called for an increase in commission to 65% and an addition of other costs that would really impact the inmates, the detainees, and of course their families that are being held in the Bergen County Jail. At any rate, on July 17th, we submitted to you Freeholders report put together by the NYU Immigration Rights Clinic, which did an analysis of your RFP. It indicates quite clearly that there are other alternatives that are much more reasonable and much fairer to inmates and detainees. I hope that it was disseminated amongst you. If not, Sally Pillay, who was First Friends program director, has copies which she'd like to distribute to you with other information. We're delighted to see that you pulled the issue today, which I think indicates that you're going to give further consideration to the issue. We would very much like to participate, if it's all appropriate, in that discussion, because we feel that this is very important. The state of New Jersey Corrections Department have completely realigned their telephone contracts, and as I indicated, or may have should have indicated, the analysis that we're talking about indicates that the cost of a call from the Bergen County Jail on a 15-minute call would be some 5 times more expensive than the Corrections Department costs. New Jersey Corrections Department's costs would be under their new contract. We think this is outrageous. It really represents an unjust burden for inmates, detainees, and their families. At any rate, again, we thank you, and we hope that you will, look with care and consider the impact of our phone bills or phone contracts in the jail, how it will impact the vulnerable people who are there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
As you indicated, it has been pulled. So.
Okay, thank you. Yes, and we want to thank Freeholders Zur, who we did discuss this with in August, and she, I think, understands our position and hopefully can relay it to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Perry Jackson.
Hello, Board of Chosen Freeholders. My name is Perry Jackson. First name is spelled P-E-R-R-Y. Last name is spelled J-A-C-K-S-O-N. I was invited to the Board of Chosen Freeholders meeting, and I'm not really a talkative person. I'm really involved in audiovisual production. I'm behind the scenes as a cameraman. And I have a good number of companies of my own that has been established in Bergen County here in Hackensack. And on the basis of taking business law, some courses in introduction to psychology and sociology, and courses in marketing, advertising, sales, promotion, distribution, you name it. It just goes on to name a number of things that I've been involved with directly, even with working with WWDJ as an intern while I was going to Bergen County. Working at WWDJ in Hackensack when they were formerly on Main Street, where I believe a law firm is currently, and other places I've actually worked as well to gain and acquire schooling, including Center for the Media Arts that used to be in Manhattan, and a host of other things from, presidential discussions and things that involve the overall genre of communications and media and education and multicultural programs that are involved with just telecasting and broadcasting, and the FCC ruling and regulation both for television, cable, phones, and cellular calls that have to be made and paid at a frequent rate. If it's every month, it's maybe for some $30, $35, and for others it may be that they can get a flat rate plan. And if that's the case, that flat rate plan is available, then the flat rate fee would be somewhat costly. It depends on the person's living ability to pay for these items, whether it be personal or for business or for both. I heard a person had at least 5 cell phones. And I said, wow. I said, why would one need 5 cell phones? But if in case one phone call has to go through for one contact mode of reaching them, then they have to have another form of reaching them, and that requires another operative phone reachable for whether it's Sprint, Verizon, AT&T, or a host of others that are out there. The competition is good, but it's competitive, and it makes it very costly, as the gentleman may mention, I believe, with the calling from home to jail.
3 minutes, Mr. Jackson.
And that's it. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Tony Granato.
It's Granato. Good evening, Board and Chairwoman Voss. My name is Tony Granato, and I represent the New Jersey Sierra Club and our 10,000 members and supporters in Bergen County. As we know, the Pilgrim Pipeline could be a disaster for Bergen County, especially for its drinking water. We are glad Bergen County freeholders tonight plan to vote upon the resolution against Pilgrim Pipeline and stand up for the environment. We thank you for continuing the momentum against this pipeline. The Pilgrim Pipeline would cross through the Ramapo and the Highlands, threatening drinking water for almost all of Bergen County's residents. A spill would wipe out the water supply for weeks or months, especially for Bergen County, until it would be cleaned up. Bakken oil is not only the most flammable, it's the most explosive, and no matter how you ship it, it is dangerous. That is why 35 towns have already publicly opposed the pipeline, and 4 counties, as well as the 2 Bergen County municipalities that would be directly impacted, Mahwah and Oakland. It is not only local governments passing resolutions against this pipeline, but even the New Jersey State Assembly and Senate have opposed it. If the Pilgrim Pipeline were to be built in New Jersey, a spill would not only threaten our water supply, but the towns along the route. Counties and towns near and along the route are coming out in opposition because they have seen the devastating impacts from pipeline leaks, and we are all well aware of the risks. If we had a similar spill like the ones we've had across the country, it would have serious consequences on our environment, fisheries, ecosystem, and importantly, our water. A spill in the Highlands could mean that the water supply intakes on critical water supply rivers like the Passaic, Ramapo, and Pompton could be closed for weeks, if not longer, until a spill is cleaned up. There have been serious oil spills in North Dakota, and the last one was in the Yellowstone River. The Highlands is like our Yellowstone, but as you know, it is more important because of all the people who depend on the drinking water from the Highlands region. Moving forward, after this resolution, one of the best ways to stop this damaging pipeline is for Bergen County to work with the county administrator to deny Pilgrim Pipeline survey access. If you're able to do this, it will make it harder for them to get permits and approvals required to help block this damaging project. Bergen County should not allow Pilgrim special survey permission on public-owned lands. By allowing surveys, it not only threatens Bergen County's most environmentally sensitive watershed lands, but also the Ramapo Valley Reservation and Bergen County parklands within the Highlands Conservation Area. We applaud the Freeholder Board tonight for putting this resolution on the agenda and making the right decision for Bergen County residents by opposing this dangerous project.
Ms. Granato.
Okay. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you. Karen Vargas.
Hi, my name is Karen Vargas, and I'm here just to say thank you to the freeholders for opposing the Pilgrim Pipeline, and hopefully we can all continue working together to keep the water clean and the environment safe. Thank you.
And Sally Pillay.
It's Sally Pillay, Pillay. Good evening to all the freeholders. I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak here on behalf of the contract that's coming up for Bergen County. As the gentleman previously before me had indicated, we are very concerned, and I know that I want to applaud you for removing it off the agenda tonight. We were trying to advocate against this proposal because we are against the 65% commission increase. Bergen County houses 194 immigrant detainees. We are very active in working in 3 county jails and 2 detention facilities in the state of New Jersey. We have found that if these individuals, if this commission increases for Bergen County, it will further isolate the immigrant detainees as well as the inmate population who use this phone access as a way for them to gather evidence for their cases. A lot of them are not represented by immigrant attorneys because they can't afford it. If this contract goes through, it would be very appalling knowing that we would be profiting from the vulnerable population that's detained. Not only do families benefit from the low prison phone rates, but studies have shown that communities benefit by keeping prisoners and families connected, and it helps to end the cycle of repeat offenders, which prevents crime and creates a safer community. As advocates, we are urging the freeholders, as well as Bergen County Jail, to rethink and reconsider to join the Department of Corrections rate of roughly 4.5% per minute for domestic calls, and match the Elizabeth Detention Center's rate of 15 cents per minute for international calls, and eliminate the commission and fees. And my question for the freeholders is, what is the county's position moving forward? Because it's in direct opposition of the state, what the state is trying to do in creating a fair and just phone rate for individuals that are incarcerated. Thank you.
Sal Moretti.
From Paramus Alpine Drive, 76-year lifelong resident. Going back a few years, going back around 80 years, I have here a collage, Gunman Seeks Roosevelt's Life. And from time to time, it says here that Joe Zangara, resident of Hackensack, wounds Anton Cermak, who died, of course. From time to time, in the past, Friendship House was mentioned. Friendship House was a halfway house psychology house. Moved into 387 Park Street when Frank Ziza was a member of the city council. Ziza lived in Hackensack before World War II and was drafted, sent to North Africa, captured, and became a German prisoner of war. These events are recorded on the internet. There was a look-alike of Frank Ziza called Mr. Blabbermouth, a movie which is on the internet and shows a pro-German person making rather idiotic statements. It was shown with an extremely popular movie with Greer Garson called Mrs. Miniver, and Winston Churchill said that the movie was worth an ocean of battleships. I spoke, of course, to Mr. Churchill personally. Let's see. Okay. Now, I have a collage here showing you the absolute similarity of Blabbermouth and Ziza, and also my running for City Council in 1981 against Ziza. I show here also my picture, a picture of Battleship Missouri surrender, which I attended, and also some photos of Princeps and Morrisburg and Frank Ciza and Mr. Ciza getting a medal. And then I show here, of course, the Friendship House location and the various arson which occurred in the area in which 5 houses burned down, which I made complaints with respect to, which were ignored by Mr. Ciza.
3 minutes, Mr. Moretti.
Okay, I don't know if you want to have these photos, but
Give them to the young man.
I will forego them because, as I said, this is part of my report, and I want the whole thing going in at the same time. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Just that you know that I have them.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else wish to address the board? If not, may I have a motion to close the meeting
So
to the
moved.
public?
Second.
Who's the,
David.
and second?
No.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Will the clerk read the resolutions on the consent agenda?
Resolutions of unanimous consent are 1045-15 to 1066-15, 1068-15 to 1089-15, and 1091-15 to 1093-15.
May I have a motion to accept the resolutions on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Or, roll call, please.
Freeholder DiNicola?
Yes.
Freeholder Felice?
Yes.
Freeholder Gans?
Aye.
Freeholder Sullivan is absent. Freeholder Tonelli?
Yes.
Freeholder Zor?
Yes.
Chairwoman Vaz?
Yes. Are there any resolutions of non-consent pulled or tabled? If so, will the clerk please read?
Resolution 1090-15 is a resolution opposing the Pilgrim Pipeline project.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
No comments.
Oh, are there any comments?
Freeholder DiNicola?
Yes.
Freeholder Felice?
No.
Freeholder Gans?
Aye.
Freeholder Sullivan is absent. Freeholder Tonelli?
Yes.
Freeholder Zor?
Yes.
Chairwoman Vaz?
Yes. And do we have any polls?
Yeah, we have one poll, 1067-15.
Okay. Now, introduction and first reading of ordinance 15-23. Will the clerk please read ordinance 15-23 by title only?
Ordinance 15-23 is a bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements by the County of Bergen, appropriating the aggregate amount of $1,712,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $1,630,000 in bonds or notes of the county to finance part of the cost thereof.
Is there any board discussion or comment on ordinance 15-23? Okay. Do I have a motion? Okay. I have a motion to accept ordinance?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Freeholder DiNicola?
Yes.
Freeholder Felice?
Yes.
Freeholder Gans?
Aye.
Freeholder Sullivan is absent. Freeholder Tonelli?
Yes.
Freeholder Zor?
Yes.
Chairwoman Vaz?
Yes, ordinance 1523 passes first reading.
Please.
I second it.
Okay. Okay, we will now have freeholder committee reports, and I just want to ask the freeholders to keep their remarks brief and under 5 minutes, and so I would appreciate that. And we will start off with Freeholder Tonelli. How about you?
Okay, thank you, Chairwoman. Briefly, obviously, we all know that 9/11 just passed and we all attended. I'm sure everyone will be speaking about all the different memorials they attended. One stuck out for me more than others was the one I attended in Little Ferry when I stood there with middle school students that some probably weren't even born when this tragedy happened, and how important it is that we continue to attend these and continue to have them so that the children never forget. As we all know, that every year the chairwoman talks about history. Every year we change curriculum, and it seems like less and less about learning about the history of this country, and I think it's important that days like this never get forgotten. The day after 9/11, I attended on 9/12, which men and women back then immediately enlisted in the service to defend this country. I attended a going away party given in my town for Lawrence Angelo Jr., who enlisted for 8 years in the Navy, to thank him for his service. It was just, it seemed surreal that he was doing it on 9/12, day where thousands of people in this country decided to enlist to defend the country. On a happier note, Frank Del Vecchio, our Director of Public Safety, Communications, 911 and Dispatch, has a charity, Run for Hope. So Saturday, he talked me into running. We ran from Ridgewood to Ground Zero. I'm happy to say that I ran, but I didn't make the full thing. I only ran 8 miles, which for me is a record. But Frank did run the full thing and deserves a lot of credit. It was a fundraiser to raise money to help stop violence. And basically all the causes that Frank backs, they're very meaningful, and that's why it's so easy to get behind people like Frank to help support these runs that he does. And that's it for my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Freeholder Police.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I look forward to participating in the committee to consider how in which we deal with Bergen Regional and how Bergen Regional will serve the people of Bergen County for decades to come. So I look forward to our first meeting. I look forward to learning a lot about what's available as far as opportunities. And one thing about the future of healthcare is that it will change as we're involved with this whole process. So I'm very honored and privileged to be on it. I look forward to working with all the committee members and my colleagues on the Freeholder Board. I believe Tracy Zor, Freeholder Zor, is on that. And again, I just want to mention, certainly with 9/11, that we can't forget what took place that very dark day. But what came out of it was an incredible amount of love and compassion and heroism that today that people still show every day of their lives. And in River Edge, we lost 6 people, and I knew some indirectly, but not directly. My 6th grade school teacher, her granddaughter was killed that very day. But what we must learn is that, freedom is something that we cherish in our country, and that it takes so much sacrifice. So we can't forget the people that lost their lives, and the people that gave their lives to protect others, and the people that suffer continuously now. So thank you for letting me speak. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Freeholder Tina Cola.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do want to mention a few happy cultural events that we all shared in the last 2 weeks. One was in Lodi, the St. Joseph's Festival, where we all were Italians, at least for our visit there, and enjoyed some incredible food and music. And it truly was a South Bergen event, I'll say. People came from all over the place, not just Lodi, and really celebrated being together and enjoyed the end of summer. And then, of course, many of us are invited to the first day of school throughout Bergen County, which is also another great time. I think no matter how old you get, your life is still organized by the school calendar, and you feel like we all start anew in September rather than January 1. And we still have those nightmares, too, I think, about the test you didn't study for or the locker code that you forgot. But we certainly wish good luck throughout the year to all of the students who are in school, and the best to the teachers who are doing their best teaching them. I also attended the bocce tournament in Bergenfield this past weekend. And let me tell you, it's like being with 150 of my father-in-law. They take it very seriously. I played well, but not well enough. But it was another wonderful county social event where you saw particularly a lot of our seniors out there enjoying the outside, being competitive, and using recreational and outdoor facilities, whether municipal or county. It's so important that they're available to them. And that leads me to the Bergen County Senior Coalition. The work continues with the coalition. Freeholder Zor and I are participating in that. The mission statement has been completed for this organization. The goal is to find ways to have our seniors efficiently and effectively age in place. And it is a difficult thing. We need a lot of networking in order for that to happen, so that the right services are provided, trying to prioritize the struggles and challenges, transportation being first among them. But as I said, the work continues, and we're going to go on to do to get things done and to do good things there. And the last thing is 9/11. I know that really was the cornerstone of the month for many of us. The events, the memories, it's the same. Every September 11th, you turn on the news in the morning, and it's that same feeling, like it's happening all over again. And I know we are all working for a better world. I'm proud to say I do have an active duty son who just returned from deployment in the Middle East. It isn't over. There's still so much more to do, and we have to work together to get that done and support our active duty military who are not supported enough, and support our veterans who also are not supportive enough. And I just want to give a final shout out to all of the fire departments who responded to that Waldwick PSE&G fire. That was a struggle. Gratefully, no one was injured, no residential property was damaged, but we had companies from all kinds of towns there all day and all night, my son among them. But they did put the fire out. The mayor of Waldwick was very grateful. His town did an incredible job, and all of our emergency services are always there for us. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Freeholder Gantz.
Thank you, Chairwoman. I will be brief tonight. I went to the senior picnic where so many of my colleagues were at Van Son Park. It's good to be back in Van Son. Nice experiment over at Overpeck, but I think that Van Son is the right way to go. We had citizens that were bused all over the county there, and it was a great opportunity to meet old friends and new friends, and to pick up all kinds of interesting information about a variety of services, including the Bergen Wellness Card, more about which in a moment. I also went to Family of Friends at Mount Calvary Baptist Church last Sunday, and I've been making my way around various congregations in the county, making all sorts of new friends, and telling them about the Bergen Wellness Card and the Bergen Wellness Card for pets. This coming Sunday, Mount Olive is having its friends and family, and I expect that I will be there as well. I understand that Pastor Walton is going to be present. 9/11 is cause for reflection by everybody. I can remember 14 years ago when that horrible event took place. I was mayor of Fairlawn, and I got a call from our surrogate, Mike Dressler, who anticipated that there would be many more deaths than there actually were. And he was thinking that there might be thousands in Bergen County, and asked if he could set up satellite offices throughout the county, and asked if Fairlawn would be willing to participate. I offered up the mayor's office, the mayor's secretary, and all the resources of the borough of Fairlawn, and thank goodness that it was not necessary, and we were able to handle it from here. But the surrogate is to be commended for his advanced thinking, and it's something that should be permanently re-examined on a periodic basis in our emergency management plan as to what to do in the event that takes place. I do want to talk for a moment about the Bergen Wellness Card, which is now 12 years old. This gives you discounts on medications for your pets and for humans, hearing aids, eyeglasses for a very inexpensive price. The best buy by far are hearing aids. Freeholder McPherson, who has heard many of these with me, took her mom for a hearing aid in Philadelphia, and this was this year. And she's been carrying the Bergen Wellness Card since it was initiated. And her mother picked a $2,800 hearing aid. She gave the Bergen Wellness Card, out of state no less, in Philadelphia, and they took it, and she paid $900 for a $2,800 hearing aid. It's a great program. It doesn't cost anything. Only when you buy, you get the discount. You can also use it for tuna-flavored amoxicillin for your pets and other prescriptions that are ground to order by various pharmacists. Those of you who celebrate the Jewish New Year, Lashana Tova, and have an easy fast. Thank you very much.
Freeholders, sir.
Thank you very much, Chairwoman. Just to also echo Freeholder Gans's wish for a Happy New Year for all. When Freeholder Dean Nicola talked about starting anew, certainly in the Jewish faith, that's what we are doing, beginning our new year, and I want to wish everyone a happy, healthy, and sweet new year. For some, it hasn't been such a sweet new year. As we went to, Freeholder Sullivan and I went up to Bergen Regional Medical Center and toured the facility regarding the expansion of the detox center. I'm grateful to Bergen Regional Medical Center and Solomon for expanding and for promising to expand to the 10 additional beds, and hope that we can continue our conversations so that we can continue to push for more. I'm optimistic that we can get another 10 or 15 in, and we're just going to take a little bit of a push. So I'm sure the administration will join us in seeing that through to the finish line. But the needs that are there are so underscored when we went this weekend to the Springhouse Alumni Picnic. And I got to tell you, it was one of those events that reminded me of why I'm sitting up here and why we need to have county government and why the efforts that we're putting forward on this front are so vital. This was an experience where all the people who graduated over the last 40 years at Springhouse, which is a women's therapeutic halfway house, have all come back and get together and have a picnic in the park. And to see all of these women's lives who've been put back together through the hard work of so many of our staff up there, it really, as I said, it underscores that we can have success in this heroin epidemic. We can have success in treatment. We need more resources dedicated to this because this investment in putting people's lives back together is critical. We also had this week, in the back-to-school mode that we were in, went to Ebenezer Baptist Church and their back-to-school drive, the Filibus campaign that they had, which gathered so many supplies for those in need for back-to-school. And to see these kids participating in a spelling bee and getting geared up and excited about the new year, I underscore that thank you to all the teachers as my 3 went back to school. It was a wonderful day for all of us. We also had the first meeting of our body camera panel to really analyze how we're going to be employing those at the Sheriff's Department. We engaged, I went to a bus riders forum that was sponsored by Senator Weinberg, but had all of those from Port Authority and New Jersey Transit in attendance, really analyzing how we're providing bus service for those commuters. And it was a wonderful forum with lively input. We need more of those, and we hope that there will be continued responsiveness from those at Port Authority and New Jersey Transit. And that's going to continue as we all put pressure on those organizations for transparency and for responsiveness to us, the consumers of their service. So many individuals commute into Manhattan every day. These are integral services, and we need to be doing more for mass transit in Bergen County. On a personal note, my sister got married, and I just want to say congratulations to her and to Bill Sukas, her husband, as they have their own new beginning. So I sucked it up, as you all know, and wore lavender, not my color, but I was very excited to be able to share in that milestone. And on one other note, sorry. At the end of the month, I didn't get to address this at our last public session. I lost a dear friend who I grew up with in Woodcliff Lake. Her name was Debbie Hupsmith, and she was an advocate for safe routes. She was a big pusher of safe bicycle routes to school nationwide, and while the charity was based out in Marin County, her efforts led to over $1 billion worth of federal allocations towards safe routes programs, including grants that this year alone financed safety improvements in towns in Oakland and Tenafly and Garfield. So while she lost her battle to leukemia, her efforts will continue, and we will continue all to be pushing for safe routes to school for our children. Thank you.
Thank you. I also want to say Shana Tova, and because I'm a history teacher, you should know the year is 5776 on the Hebrew calendar, okay? And 9/11 was a very, very important day. I was in Mawa early in the morning at one of the services, and then we had a service here in Hackensack, and then we had a service at Overpeck Park. But for me, the most important one was the one in my town, Fort Lee, and that evening. About 1,000 people came out because we are just a few hundred feet away from the George Washington Bridge. And we were really, and we have to be very, very vigilant at all times. And we have a phenomenal emergency management team, a volunteer fire department, and a wonderful police department. And they were all there in force, and I wish that every town would have the kind of dedicated people that we have in my town to be there when an emergency arises. One of the stories I told was that as soon as 911 occurred, we immediately sent the children home, but we set up an emergency triage center in the gymnasium of my school, the Portly High School. And we had many, many ambulances. We had doctors, nurses, crisis counselors. We had dozens and dozens and dozens of people ready to assist people. But because people couldn't get out of the city and because there were over 3,000 casualties, no one came. And that, to me, was like devastating to think that you want to help and there is no one that you can help. This sounds strange, but because I'm a history teacher, I read the obituaries all the time, and you learn tremendous amounts of history. And just this week, one of the last Tuskegee airmen passed away. His name was Lieutenant Spann. Just reading his biography is so inspirational, and kids need to know what it was like just 50 years ago in this country. We've come a long way. But, you know, you can learn your history in many, many ways, but we cannot forget. 14 years ago was 9/11. To us, it's like yesterday, but to kids who were just like teenagers today, it's like ancient history, as is World War II when the Tuskegee pilots were flying. We've got to keep our history alive. I just want to say one more thing. Yesterday, Mike Adler passed away, and one of the issues that many people are not aware of is aphasia. And very often when people have a stroke or have head trauma, they can suffer from aphasia. Aphasia is when you just can't remember the words. You can't get the words out. And so Mike Adler and his wife, Elaine, started the Adler Aphasia Center in Maywood. I have been there. You must go there. This place is phenomenal. And these people literally get their lives back from the therapies and things that they receive. It's not anything that's usually physically debilitating, but if you can think of how it must feel when you see an object like a cup, but you cannot think of the word, okay? And so this has been a wonderful thing that the Adlers have done. And as I said, you know, get a chance to visit that place. Or if you know anybody who's suffering from aphasia, that's the place to go. And that's it for me, okay? I believe we are finished, so may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.